And welcome to Terra Trotter, and today we are very excited to do a second van tour. Now I really want to specify that this isn't a van tour in the sense of just showing you how we built our van. We already did that and people were very happy that that was just a cut and dry van tour. This is more how we organized our van and how it looks after we've lived in it full time for 3 months. And also a quick PS before we start, if you are interested in seeing a bit more, one, how the van is completely empty, I will link the van tour for that. And if you want to see how we built it from 0 to 100, I will also link that video. So yeah, with all that said, come into our van and see how we organized it. We're going to start with our fridge. This is a little 12-volt fridge. One thing that we've noticed and that I would maybe go back on is that the freezer doesn't really work. It's a very small freezer, so it doesn't really matter too much, but 6 degrees in the freezer, not great. Moving into how we stock it. It does hold a surprising amount, but we do have to shop at least once a week, if not more often. We kind of keep our veg down here, and then the rest of the things are kind of organized into where they fit. Moving on to our stove extractor fan area. Everything here has been working really well. We're really happy with the stove that we did put in. It is actually just a normal house one. This little 12-volt extractor fan has worked really well for us. And then above it, what we've done is here we have all of our spices, dog treats, seeds, and coffee pot. Moving on to the next cupboards. Here we have our glasses and mugs. Right now it looks a bit empty because we have our stuff from breakfast out, but yeah, glasses and mugs. And this one is a little bit just kind of everything that we could fit, mainly tea things. We have got oil and things like our protein powders and such in here, but mainly it is tea things. Moving on to this cupboard down here, it's a bit of a mix, but we have up here is kind of our dry things such as potatoes, onions, garlic, and then some Tupperwares, and behind our bowls, just because that's the only place they fit. And then down here again, it looks a bit of a mess, but it's basically kind of our pantry. We have all of our like tin things and all that kind of stuff down there, and at the very bottom we have our pots. This is a kind of storage solution we found for our lids of our pots, as yeah, that can be a bit awkward down there. I just want you to keep in mind that being in a van, things can't always look aesthetic and perfect all the time. So in our first one, it's a bit strange, but we do have our plates. This is simply because we closed these drawers with magnets, and we could put a stronger magnet on this top one and the bottom one. So we wanted to make sure that there was heavier things in this first drawer. And in our second drawer, we do have our cutlery. This does look a bit messy, but it is just things that, yeah, can't do much about it in van life. In our third drawer, we have bigger utensils and then things for storing food. And our last one definitely looks messy, but again, just please no judgment. We have our frying pan, and then we just have dry stuff such as pasta, rice, flour, quinoa. We have bowls, colander, wraps, anything that we could fit in there. Moving on to our last part in our kitchen, we have our beautiful sink, which is amazing. Yeah, really happy with it and how we did it. We have got a cover for it, so this does fit in the gap, so that when we're cooking, it's we've got more space. When we're parked up, we do normally just have it open. And the cupboard under the sink, even though it looks like there wouldn't be much space here, we did actually manage to fit quite a lot, even though it is quite jumbled. So we have things like card games and such, we have candles, we have cleaning products, we have things for hand washing in the back, we have some extra Tupperwares in there, all sorts. And then down here we have Bailey's on one side, very important, but on this side we have a drawer which is basically all of our bathroom things, and up here as well things like makeup. This is obviously for showering, jewelry, all sorts of things like that. And this gap is actually when we move, is where our bin goes, which at the moment it's out. When we stop, we do get it out, but when we're on the move, that's where it goes. I wanted to do a quick sum up of, now that we've been living in the van for the past 3 months full time, kind of what we've learned, if we would have done anything differently with respect to the kitchen. One thing that it took us a while, the first few weeks, every time we would start driving, drawers would open, cupboards would open, things would fly out. So we did have to try a few different mechanisms to kind of keep things closed. Our best bet in the end was a mix of clips and magnets being our best friend just in general in this van build. One thing that we do actually have to change is this back bit that you see running along the back of the counter. Unfortunately just isn't the right material, and especially around the sink it has swollen because it is kind of like this cardboard kind of like wood look-alike. So we are going to have to change that. We have been on the lookout. It's just been hard being on the road to find a place that has it and has the tools to help us change it. Okay, and now moving into our bathroom. Our bathroom hasn't changed too much from when you last saw it, when it was empty. Basically, we have over here shampoo and conditioner, which is the same as our dish soap. We got in tubs that we can screw to the wall so we don't have to worry about them. And then over here we reserved this little shelf for everything and anything that we use every day, as opposed to things that were in the bamboo box that I just showed you under the sink. And another addition up here, we did install a washing line, which this is the other end for it. What we did is we put a hook over on this side so that it does kind of come back on itself. It comes out to the hook and back. That has been also really, really helpful. Down here we have kind of Knox's area. Knox is our little dog. His bed, he does actually love. He's got quite a few layers in there at the moment because it's quite cold. And then over on this side, this cubby, it's full of, yeah, just Knox has gotten all excited because it's his box. He thinks he's getting food or something out, don't you? Yes. But yeah, just his dog food, his balls, is everything is in there, isn't it, Knox? Yeah. And now over into kind of the last bit of the van. So we have the lounge area. This is our amazing table, which is something that I have definitely been in love with since we did it and wouldn't change anything about it. It's where we work, where we eat, everything. I'm gonna just get the computers out the way so that I can open up the benches. It's also where we keep our clothes. So I'm gonna show you the one on this side just because easier access to get to with the camera. Here what we've done, even though it doesn't look that big, it actually fits so much. It's so impressive. What we've done is we've kind of organized our clothes into bags, these kind of cloth bags, so that everything has a bit more order to it. And then in the back of the bench, again, it's all in little bags. Things like this is pants, socks, thick socks, underwear. Yeah, it's just organized like that, and it's much easier to kind of keep track of everything. And the other side looks pretty much the same. It's just got my partner's clothes in it, and I also stole it to put some of my jumpers in there. And then our bed, as it is at right now, it's a single bed, and then it actually pulls out. You can see the handles here. Pull the table all the way out, and then you pull this bit of wood out, and the bed comes out all the way to here up until the bathroom, and it turns into a huge double bed. This whole area was a bit that we weren't sure if we were going to have it like this. There's so many ways you could go with it, but it just makes the most sense by far, and we're actually really happy with it. The only downside is that if one person wants to get up and work and the other person wants to stay in bed, the only way around that is for everybody to get out of bed, make the bed, and then said person can stay in bed while the other person sits. But it's a van. One thing I haven't talked about is the little shelves that we put in. They seem silly and small, but they do just add so much. We have books that we might use a bit more, so we have our travel books and cooking books. Also a great place to keep our AirPods. And then some plants, which again, it might seem silly, but it just adds to it. There's also a little light in there. This is more of a bedside table. Some plants, book, water, lip balm, things like that. And one place that was actually a very last minute thought, and thank goodness we did actually add it in, we realized that Knox's bed was very, very high, so we decided to add in a shelf, which is this nook here. And it looks messy, but it is just how it can be functional. We have our camera stuff, we have basically all of our work stuff. It makes so much sense, and if we didn't have that, I don't know where we'd put all that stuff. So here is the cabin. This partition was already in the van when we bought the van, as it was a FedEx van. The great thing about it is it does have This huge security bolt here, it does definitely make us feel a lot safer. Also, when we've been in colder places, being able to kind of shut off the cabin, I feel like keeps the van a lot warmer. So when it is nice and bright, we can have it open and just have extra light. When it's nice weather, when it's not too hot, too cold. Through here, the cabin, it's definitely just looking more lived in. Apart from that, there isn't much difference. We've made it nice and cozy for when we are driving, as we sometimes do spend quite a few hours in there. And here under the seat in the cabin is where we keep our kombucha bottles. So we've been making homemade kombucha from the van, which has been so fun. When we travel, we obviously close it. It's got a clip on the other side, but yeah, it's it's a good little place to have it. I can't believe it's already been 3 months. It's crazy. We are loving it. We have done so much in these 3 months, and we are looking forward to just taking it a bit more calm, as you'll be seeing in the next couple of months. Anything that you saw that you think we could maybe improve, any organizational tips that you may have for being in a van, we are open to suggestions. And aside from that, I just hope you enjoyed our tour. I hope you're enjoying our travels now that we're finally on the road. And aside from that, I will see you in the next video. Bye.